Protein. Protein is critical, and getting adequate of good quality protein into your diet is absolutely vital for the management of arthritis. Protein is used for by your body to grow, to build muscle, and to repair muscle. And when you have a good, firm, strong muscle around joints, it can really protect those joints. And there's many sources of protein. Some sources of protein are very anti-inflammatory in themselves, but getting a good spectrum of proteins, because protein is made up of things called amino acids, and some of these amino acids are what you call essential amino acids. So these amino acids must be obtained by your body through diet. Your body can't manufacture essential amino acids. So with this bread I'm going to make here, it is a bread that is, instead of using our traditional carbohydrate, wheat flours or spelt flours, be what it is, even oats, and using almost complete protein. I'm going to use egg whites. The main source of this bread is going to be egg whites. And I'm using, within these couple of loaves, I'm going to use about almost a pound, over a pound of egg whites, half a kilo of egg whites. So with this, it's a very, very simple recipe. The flour I'm going to use is a coconut flour, because what I want here is another problem with arthritis, especially with rheumatoid or my own arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. It's autoimmune. It can make you feel unwell. You mightn't want to eat, but you need to be getting those proteins in. And what's one of the easiest things in the world to eat? It's white bread. So let's make a bread with a lot of protein in it. So with this, what I'm going to first do is make a batter. This is my coconut flour. You'll get coconut flour easily enough in oriental shops, in the specialty Asian type markets. If you can't get it, get a liquidizer and maybe get desiccated coconut and just blend it down into a flour. I have my baking powder. I'm just going to mix that through, and a little pinch of salt, just to get a little bit of flavor in there. And I'm going to mix that into a dry mix. Next up, what I'm going to do is add some wet ingredients. So I'm going to add half of my egg whites, and I'm going to put those directly in as my flour base. I'm going to also add my coconut oil, which I've melted. And I'm going to add some acid, because when you're using a baking powder, you need to add an acid to make it react. And in this case, I'm using an apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to just pop that in there as well. So I'm going to mix those ingredients together, and they're going to form into a batter. And then with that batter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other half of my egg whites, nice clean container, and I'm going to just pop those in 250 grams egg whites. It's approximately 7 large eggs, the egg whites from. And I'm going to blend those up into a meringue, just as I'm mixing this. And now also what I've done is I've pre-lined, well, I'm using 2 silicone molds, so I don't have to line them, but 1 large loaf dish or 2 smaller ones is what I'm using. And preheat your oven 180 degrees. And then keep your batter, just as your egg whites are mixing, into a meringue. I'm just going to make sure my batter is nicely incorporated, especially with my baking powder. And that meringue won't take long at all. Just about there. I'm just going to whisk it to its nice stiff peaks. And that's how my batter looks. I think you can see it there. And my meringue just about done now. And there we go. Now you want to use this nice and quickly. You don't want to be kind of lingering about. So, because you want to keep the air in your meringue. There's my meringue. Mixed. You should be able to turn your bowl easily upside down. And just the egg I've used. Now what I'm going to do is going to add a little piece of my egg white because I'm trying to keep the bulk. So don't add all your egg white in at once. Just very gently, and don't mix it. Fold it very, very gently through your mixture. It's very important that you go very easy, very gentle, and keep that air in your egg white as you're mixing into your batter. So once you start it in, we're going to add a little bit more. So add it kind of piece by piece in about 2 stages, if you like, 2 or 3 stages. I'm going to add a little bit more. My nice egg white. And again, just mix that through and fold it in nice and delicately. And when that's incorporated, I'm just going to add the remainder of my egg white. Now, as this bakes, it will kind of rise above your molds, but then it'll fall back again. I'm going to use a spatula just to get all of it. There we go. So, my egg white mixed through my batter. And now straight away into your molds. It's good to place your batter. So that's how my mix should look. Nice and light, nice and fluffy, and well incorporated. So I'm going to add this into my 2 molds. And then I'm going to pop this in the oven and bake. Now, because in the recipe you could put these all into one larger mold, bake for about 50 minutes, or as I'm doing, into 2 slightly smaller molds. And bake for in around 35-40 minutes, thereabouts. So I'm going to pop that, just batten it all down, spread it out. And now I'm going to just pop that into the oven, cook it at 180 degrees, check it about 40 minutes. And there we have the loaves just out of the oven. So what I'm going to do is just carefully unmold those, because it's a silicone mold, it's quite forgiving. And I'm going to let those cool fully before cutting. And there's our high protein egg based bread.